And now to the big story of the morning, Melissa.
The details on the hack, and this is a developing story this morning. Capital One disclosing a massive data breach that affects approximately 100 million U.S. customers and 6 million in Canada. The company says 140,000 Social Security numbers, 80,000 bank accounts, and 1 million Canadian social insurance numbers were compromised. But it also says the largest category of data that was exposed was from credit card applications, including names, addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, and self-reported income. The hacker also accessed customer status data such as payment history, credit scores, and credit limits. Capital One says the breach occurred in late March. The hacker is believed to have accessed information through a misconfigured firewall that left a cloud server vulnerable. Court records show the FBI arrested a suspect, Paige Thompson. The Wall Street Journal reporting that she's a former engineer at Amazon Web Services. Authorities allege Thompson posted some data on GitHub and a private chat page. Capital One says it will offer free credit monitoring to those affected, and the breach will cost it up to $150 million a year.
Can we talk about this for a second? Because to me, there's multiple issues going on here, but the one company, I mean, you mentioned it in passing, is AWS in all of this, Amazon.
Right.
So you saw a statement come out, obviously, from Capital One. Where is Amazon in this, and what does this mean at a time when everybody's moving to the cloud? Capital One's been very aggressive about moving to the cloud. When we talk about a firewall that was misconfigured on whose end, assuming that, and from the reporting it suggests that this is being, that all this information was sitting on an Amazon server, on an AWS server. So does this become a larger story about AWS?
I mean, I think that's an interesting question to pose. She is a former AWS employee.
She's a former AWS employee. The data was sitting on an AWS server. Unless I'm lost my mind, I would say, okay, does she know something about the way these servers are configured with clients that others don't?
No. It was on an AWS server, and they didn't look to see whether I had done this. I can tell you that much. You need some serious expertise to be able, to be able to do this. And she's got, I guess, years spent working at AWS, even though she's fairly young, 33. But she's a person that obviously knew the workings of that. And I read that they put up a flimsy firewall, and it's hard.
What I'm trying to understand is that a flimsy firewall on the side of
AWS or at Capital One? Capital One, you would think. Because AWS has just got the place where it is, right? I don't know whether they're culpable. Is that your question?
That's my question. My question is, we're focused on the Capital One stock.
Sure.
And my larger question is, on a day like today, is AWS going to have to send out letters and emails and notes to AWS clients saying, your information's safe, we have nothing to do with this, or we're looking into it, or what?
I think that's probably, I think it's Capital One at this point. It just seems like, everybody has access to using AWS.
Including the government, by the way.
And once you have access to it, then it's your responsibility to get the right type of security and hire one of our CNBC 50 disruptors. Don't all of our disruptors do this?
But part of the entire argument about using a service like an AWS or a Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure is that the security component, for the most part, is being taken care of by the cloud service. The idea is, for so many years, people said, we don't want to have our security guys.
It depends on how she accessed, though. She accessed through Capital One.
And that's the fundamental question.
Which is what the report seems to indicate, that she had access a firewall maintained by Capital One Financial and not by Amazon Web Services.
Right. So this is what I would love to know more information.
I'd like to know, I'd like to see the actual dots connected between what's happened and someone who said, oh my God, look what happened to me. Did we ever at Marriott see a person that said, look what happened to me because of this? Do we ever hear that? Or it's just they have it, nothing's ever happened to the data that they got?
The problem is that what happens to the data might not happen for years.
And it could be identity 3 years from now.
Exactly. And then do you link it back to that Capital One financial breach, or do you
link
it back to
an
Equifax breach?
What's in your wallet?
Everybody.
Wallet. Yeah, right. Everybody's in your wallet.
The issue is, on the quote-unquote dark web, you can now buy Social Security numbers. You can buy fingerprints. Do you know about this? There are people selling fingerprints online.
You can buy anything.
And so the question is, if 5 years from now, if you could somehow amass a database of fingerprints, Social Security numbers. We had Clear in here yesterday, who just did this deal with United. they're taking biometric data. I know they're very cautious and protective and say that their privacy is the issue for them. But if you could collect up enough of this stuff, even if it's not used tomorrow,
but
used
you can triangulate and gather up various points of data from various places on one person, Andrew Ross Sorkin.
Yep. Don't give anybody ideas, please.
Can you buy?
Imagine what you can do.
You can buy with digital currency too.
Of course you can.
Right. All anonymously.
It's even better, eponymously.
That too.